Namaste everyone. In today's video, we're going to focus on Muni Patanjali's Yoga Sutra 1.51. This is the last sutra of the Samadhi Path series and helps us to understand the Nirbija Samadhi, which is considered the ultimate form of Samadhi. So let's look at the sutra, start understanding it word by word, and then go even deeper into its explanation. So the sutra itself goes, Tasyapi nirodhe sarva nirodha nirbijah samadhihi. So this is our Sutra 1.51. Now we're going to start breaking up all the words and seeing what it indicates. So the first word here that we're given is tasya, which means of that. So again, sutras are a continuation. It's referring to the previous sutra, which told us about the sanskar that is created through the sabija samadhi, and this sanskara, impression of karma, is what they're referring to as of that. Then the next word here is api, which is saying even, and then we come to the next part, which is nirodha. Now, if you remember, this word appeared in Patanjali Yoga Sutra 1.2 as well, where nirodha was referred to as the restraint or the curbing or the reduction. After that, we come to sarva. Sarva means all or everything. And the next word is nirodha once again. So the emphasis on this word nirodha is such that it kind of characterizes the Nirbija Samadhi, and therefore this word is being used again and again to really emphasize or drive the point home. The next word that we have is Nirbija. Now, Nirbija refers to seedless. And the reason we say this is because the word bija refers to a seed and Nirbija means no seed. So no element of anything. There is no seed form present here. And then we come to the last word, which is of course Samadhi. So now that we've heard all of the words, let's get into understanding this entire sutra a little bit better. So overall, what the sutra is trying to tell us is that in the stage of Nirbija Samadhi, even the sanskar of the Sabija Samadhi, which we had spoken about in the previous video, even that gets eliminated. There's absolutely nothing left. There's no seed, there's no sanskar. The chitta is completely empty. There is no thought wave, there's no thought form. And that is why the samadhi becomes complete. And whatever object we've chosen for meditation, especially if we've chosen ourselves or we're doing an inward process, then in that case, the Purusha and the Prakriti elements, which is what comes from the Sankhya philosophy. If you haven't watched the Sankhya philosophy video, please do check that out. So, in the Purusha and Prakriti elements, we start to then isolate the Purusha element and the Prakriti completely dissolves. So this is of course a very advanced stage of meditation, the highest stage of Kaivalya as we call it, and it's something which is definitely very challenging to achieve. And it is said that once you achieve this, everything changes because you are no longer bound to the material world anymore. And so that's why this whole process of meditation, we were discussing how we start with the Vitarka stage, then we go through the Vichara stage, and then of course we reach the next few stages and so on and so forth, Ananda and Asmita. But finally, when we reach this Nirbija state, everything kind of comes to a real end or a closure. And that's why this stage is considered the highest attainment of yogic practice. It is something that only certain yogis aspire or attain in a particular lifetime. Personally, what I think is that only very few selected yogis actually go so deep in their journey. The rest of us are kind of hybrids, balancing the modern world and our own individual yoga practices. But a lot of the yoga practitioners or sadhaks who are very serious about their practice, they do tend to go down this path. And they obviously have used their powers and their understanding for different purposes. It might of course be to understand an object or their subject of meditation, or it could also be to get out of the cycle of birth and death through the attainment of Nirbija Samadhi and Kaivalya. So this is what we know as Nirbija Samadhi, where all other samskaras also stop not even the sanskara of the Sabija Samadhi remains, and everything absolutely comes to a standstill. And that's why we say that the Purusha element gets isolated and the Prakriti completely dissolves within itself. This is, since we're an amalgamation of Purusha and Prakriti, it's really hard to even imagine ourselves without the Prakritic element or without the nature element. But this is what this Nirbija Samadhi is all about. So I hope that you've been able to understand what this Samadhi is. I think speaking about it isn't enough. It's only experience or a little bit of practice that will show us what we're really talking about in these sutras, and that's why our practice ultimately is what is going to take us the furthest. So as you can see, to understand Samadhi, Sankhya theory, very important. To an extent, even the Advaita Vedanta theory is really important. We'll be able to understand these concepts much better if we know these two philosophies. And then, of course, the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, which are such a practical way to kind of keep moving forward on this path. Now, I think the biggest question that all of us have in mind is, what is a practical method to actually reach this Samadhi stage? And in what way can we do it more practically instead of only all of these internal processes? And that's exactly the question that Muni Patanjali answers in the next chapter of the Yoga Sutras known as Sadhana Pad, where he takes us through a more practical journey that would benefit a normal practitioner who's looking to go step by step and break down the process to make it simpler. So in the next video, we're going to dive into chapter number 2. Finally, Sadhana Pad, which is more practical, gives us the how to achieve our yogic practices and processes. So we look forward to seeing you in chapter number 2, Sadhana Pad. Until then, take care, keep practicing, and please subscribe to our channel to keep supporting our videos. Leave your thoughts in the comments below and give this video a big thumbs up. We're going to see you either in our next philosophy class, the link is in the description, or in our next video. So until then, take care, and we'll see you very soon. Namaste.